Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. And today, as you would have seen, we are talking about Kyle Lowry of the Toronto Raptors. And most specifically, do I think he should be traded? Do I think he will be traded? Where are some potential places he could go? What is the type of package the Raptors could receive? And where does the future lie for the Toronto Raptors with or without him? And so that is what we're going to be talking about today. Really quickly, with that being said, if you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing. I am doing a ton of NBA content here on the channel, and if you guys are enjoying the video, feel free to leave a like down below. With that being said, let's get right into my thoughts on this Kyle Lowry scenario. It's no secret there's been lots of discussions of him potentially being traded this season. It was similar last year until he got his extension for another season, in which now he is a free agent at the end of the season. And in what is now a weaker free agency class than most people were hoping in the summer of 2021, he is going to be one of the main free agents next summer, which means he could demand a fair bit of money and even term for someone who I believe is about to be 35, 34. He's in that range for a point guard at that age. Obviously, he's still playing very well and producing very well, but eventually you have to expect that there's going to be some level of decline. Obviously, his game has never been heavily based around elite athleticism, and so you probably won't see his decline be as sharp as some. But nonetheless, eventually age has to catch up to him, and his play is going to start to drop off. Now, here's my thought on it as a Raptors fan, right? And I know there's a lot of Raptors fans that are against trading Lowry. They're big fans of Lowry. Lowry is considered by many the greatest Raptor of all time, and I'm one of them. He's been a key part of our title team. He's been with us the longest of any All-Star player ever in franchise history, and full kudos to him. He came here, wasn't even sure if he was going to stay in Toronto long, and he's made Toronto his home and led this organization and been a big part of the city as well. But with that being said, as much as I love Kyle Lowry, I have to detach a little bit from Kyle Lowry and look at it from a Toronto Raptors organizational perspective. And the way I see it is this. The only purpose of keeping Kyle Lowry is if we think we are winning the title this season. Or next season even, potentially. Now, if you see a way in which we can add a player that is better than Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, or Kyle Lowry on the team right now, then great. Then you could argue that we can be a championship contending team. But there's no one that we're going to have in free agency. The best free agency players are Oladipo, DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, I think LaMarcus Aldridge as well. There's no one great, right? I might be missing a couple of names. Point being, there's no one that is much better than a borderline all-star as a free agent this season. And so we are going to have a little bit of money if we don't bring back Lowry. Even with him, I think we have a little bit of money, although I could be mistaken on that. But with that being said, there isn't anyone that we're going to be able to bring in that is going to raise the ceiling to a point where we say, okay, now we're a championship team. We're just not. Andre Drummond being another free agent, but again, I don't value him that highly. Most of the league doesn't either. So we're kind of at a weird point where the Raptors are very good in the regular season. It can probably be a consistent top 4, top 5 seed. But I don't think we're ever getting further than potentially a second round. Maybe if we get a lucky matchup, we get into the conference finals. And it's kind of going to be a scenario again where we were with Lowry and DeRozan and Jonas Valanciunas in that group 4 or 5 years ago, where we were a very good regular season team, but we aren't going to quite be able to get past the best of the best. We don't have that star power, that leader to get us through in the playoffs. We just don't have that. Does Siakam get there? Maybe, but he's not that right now. Fred VanVleet isn't that either. He's not anywhere near consistent enough. There's no doubt Fred VanVleet is a very, very good player. I'm a big fan of Fred VanVleet. I like the development he's had, the growth he's had. But he's not a lead you to a title player. Now, he's a very, very good starting point guard and a borderline all-star. There's no doubt about that. And I think he can fully take the reins from Kyle Lowry, which is one of the reasons why I am content with letting Lowry lead if we can get the right assets back. But as I mentioned, the only reason I see to keep Kyle Lowry is if we think we can contend for a title the next couple seasons. And the only way I think we can acquire a star good enough for us to be able to contend in the next couple of seasons is if we make a trade involving one of Lowry, VanVleet, Siakam. You're probably not going to be able to have all three to acquire a star to be a contending team. So there's two options for this team in the next couple of years. Either they make that trade, Lord knows who, because I don't think there's anyone of that quality on the trade market right now. I think the best player on the trade market right now is Oladipo or Porzingis, and neither of those guys are going to get us to that level. Would they help and they potentially make us challenge more? No. Yes, definitely. But I think it puts us at the level of Brooklyn? No. At the level of Philly? Probably not even them. Maybe not even better than Boston, although Boston's depth is a little bit questionable right now. We'd be in the hunt more, but I wouldn't consider us a contender, and that's coming from someone that is very high on the Raptors every year, given I am a Raptors fan. And so, with that being said, my point being is I don't see the point in keeping Kyle Lowry on the team if the difference is us being a 3 seed with him, getting to the second round, versus being a 5 or a 6 seed and getting out in the first round, or maybe getting to the second round and then losing. I don't see the point. If the difference was us being a contender and us losing in the second round, fair enough. I could understand that. But in my opinion, my most unbiased opinion I can give as a Toronto Raptors fan, let's be honest, this Raptors team is not winning the title. It's not. This team is not good enough to contend for a title, even though the East isn't super strong. There is no odds that we beat Brooklyn in a 7-game series. I don't think there's any odds we beat Philly in a 7-game series. And to be completely honest, I would favor Boston over us in a 7-game series. I would probably favor the Pacers over us in a 7-game series, although those two would be very close. Miami would give us a good series if they can start playing well again as well. We're good, don't get me wrong, and I really like this roster. I like a lot of the development we've seen from Chris Boucher, Norman Powell. Aaron Baines has started to play better, although obviously he's been really disappointing. But this is not a championship contending team. And so I want to start to look to move to the future. So down the road, 3-4 years, maybe we can be that. Van Fleet's in his prime, Siakam's in his prime, Boucher's starting to be in his prime. Although maybe it'll be the back end of his prime then, because I forget how old he is. But with that being said, if we can move Lowry and get, if you told me that we could send Lowry to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero and a first-round pick, would you tell me that you wouldn't take that? Or if we got, we'd probably get more than that to match salaries. We'd probably get Iguodala back. We'd potentially get Kelly Olynyk. Maybe Kendrick Nunn gets thrown in that trade and he becomes the new backup point guard to Fred VanVleet, or he even goes into the starting lineup alongside Fred VanVleet. For me personally, I feel like those are the types of things that Masai Ujiri need to be, and most likely are looking at, is retooling for the future. Unless there's some big all-star on the trade market that they can try and get for Kyle Lowry. But any team that's looking to get rid of a big all-star asset probably isn't looking to get a 35-year-old point guard whose contract is up at the end of the year back in return. So it's most likely that any Kyle Lowry trade is going to be to a contender in which back we are going to get young assets. So maybe it's to the Clippers, although that would involve a third team, same with the 76ers as well, most likely. Maybe it's a Boston swap with Kemba Walker, although again, I don't think that's very likely either. I don't think the Raptors would be too interested in that. I certainly wouldn't unless we had a couple of first-round picks coming back our way, and even then, I wouldn't love it. It's quite possible that we see a Dallas Mavericks trade as well, where he goes to Dallas and Jalen Brunson comes back, as well as a bunch of first-round picks. There's definitely some options there, but here's the thing for me. I completely understand if we keep Lowry if we don't get significant future assets back. If all we can get is like a first and a second round pick and it's going to be a late first, keep him. We need significant value, right? If we can get a significant young piece, like a Tyler Hero, like a Shake Milton and a couple of firsts, someone who has some potential, right? Maybe not Shake Milton, Tyrese Maxey. You get the idea. Someone who is young and has potential to be a quality NBA player, right? We need to be able to acquire something of quality or some large compensation of picks, given that whoever we trade him to is probably going to be giving us late first-round picks. And that's kind of how I see it right now. That's how my views are on it. If we can get very good value for Kyle Lowry, I think we need to be forward-thinking and looking forward as an organization to try and improve for that next run as a contender. Because right now, it's not there. Maybe it comes via free agency, maybe it comes via trade, maybe it comes via draft, although that would probably involve us having to not make the playoffs, which, as the roster is currently constructed, is not going to happen anytime soon. But as this roster is currently constructed, barring some massive internal development, this team is not going to be a championship contender anytime soon, in my opinion. We are close. There is no doubt we are close. We are a big Siakam jump or a big Van Fleet jump away, or an acquisition of one player. However, those things are hard to do in terms of development or acquisition, as we've known. I mean, it took us 3 or 4 years of Lowry and DeRozan running the East as the number 2 before we then finally could do it because of a disgruntled Kawhi Leonard. And if Kawhi Leonard was never disgruntled, we probably don't have an NBA title. It is tough to do, even more so in a small market like Toronto. And so kudos to the Masai Ujiri and the front office for doing what they've been able to do to keep us so competitive for this many years now, and to be able to get us a chip a few years back. But I think it's at time now where, as much as we love Kyle Lowry, and Kyle Lowry is Toronto, if Kyle Lowry's value can help us improve the franchise of Toronto for years to come, then I think that's what we need to do. That is my current thoughts on the Kyle Lowry trade talks, trade rumors, as a Toronto Raptors fan. I know it is tough to see him go, but that is my current thoughts. If we can get value for him, we need to get value. But if we don't have much, we might as well keep him. It keeps the team better. And let's be honest, we all love seeing Kyle Lowry in Toronto as Toronto Raptors fans. That being said, if you guys did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe if you are new. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.